This is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, and this is a review of 2.0. It's really weird. I went to a special screening. I got to go to a special screening. It's my birthday, so I got to go to a special screening. Yeah, it's called 2.0. It's a an Indian sort of Bollywood science fiction movie. They spent an awful lot of money on it. Um, uh, yeah. There'll be spoilers because I figure how many people are gonna watch this. So, yeah. The credits start off kind of like an X-Men, Avengers, Terminator like crossover thing. Yeah, little bit of Spider-Man with the swinging effects and all that. Yeah, it's English subtitles. That's the Indian movie. Like the Indian movie. Was it the Taj version? Or Tan version? Something like that? May have all these names wrong. I don't think it's a sequel to something else, although it kind of played like it was. The there are robots and a robot master guy, Frankenstein kind of guy, who's built a robot. First, we hear that he's built a female robot, which tricks the guys coming to his lab into thinking that the female robot is a girl. And the guy asks for her number, and she gives him a serial number, which was funny. Only to reveal that it's a robot later. And one of the other guys is like, oh well, I don't mind if she's a robot. They keep making all these it's a very male dominated masochistic society. So, at least in the story, so you have like them making boob jokes and stuff, and stuff like that, and being a little bit masochistic, even to the robot, and apparently the three laws of robotics do apply, though, in this case. Clearly the director has seen all kinds of stuff. He is clearly a fan of Shavawan, or whatever her name is. Clearly a fan of Transformers. At one point, there's a scene in which the female robot links up with the male robot via the thing in their chest that goes back and forth, and it's right out of the animated Transformers and nothing else. So that's where he's watching it. He's a fan of Dovetastic microwave theater because at one point at several points there are scenes with goofy, like sparrow, like bird, like things doing weird stuff. There's little robots riding on sparrows and birds flying around. There's bird things with lasers and cell phones and stuff. Yeah, it's like somebody made a movie out of Dovetastic's Pakistani theater. Although, granted, Pakistan and India aren't fast friends, so they probably don't know each other. It's just that the guy probably was like, oh yeah, this looks cool, I'll just copy it in my movie. And he's famous enough that, yeah, they probably did. But yeah, it had an intermission about halfway through, about 90 minutes in, and then another 50 minutes of even more crazy stuff. So basically, we have the robot creator guy who apparently at some point lost Chitty the robot, Chitti, Chitty the robot. And yes, you're supposed to cackle at the name because it sounds like the American word shitty. Yes, but he's a sarcastic robot, and yeah, and I know that Chitty is a province and something else. It doesn't mean the same thing. I know it doesn't. It's something else. But we get to see the lady robot and the hero guy investigating. Well, just before that, there was this old man who climbs up a cell phone tower, and he dies. He commits suicide in the cell phone tower by hanging. Then we cut to this city where there's this stuff going on. They're showing off the robot lady, and then cell phones start acting really crazy. Very cool special effects, actually, for as of the time that I saw it, unrated movie that no one has heard of. Not even Rotten Tomatoes. At that point, it's completely new. It was a special screening, so it was like $18. It was expensive. But yeah, I'd been meaning to see some sort of Indian movie this year. I got to see this one. But yeah, so we have this weird sort of the robot and her and her creator, the creator guy. There's this guy called the King, and there's this jealous, mad, I guess not jealous, but vengeful, younger guy who says that the scientist had killed his father and made the male robot out of it. There's this other robot, and although that robot, so they sort of kind of unlinearly introduced this other robot and this other guy, leading you to think that there must have been like a chitty movie before this, which was lower budget, and the director just thought, well, I'm just going to show this new one in America. No one needs to know. No, but they kind of had to. That would have been helpful to know about the male robot before he built the female robot. Anyway, but yeah, the cell phones are going crazy, and at one point, one of the cell phone manufacturer dudes, he gets killed in his bed. The cell phones attack. The cell phones at times have little birds chirping on the cell phone. They're flying through the air, attacking people, going inside their mouth and whatever, choking them. At one point, there's this effect where the cell phones gang up on the guy in the bedroom, and they surround him with all the glowing lights, and then they sort of like blow him up. He bursts. Really cool bursting effect. It was clearly CG mixed with probably like splattered a watermelon all over the screen or something. They did use some practical effects, CG effects, miniatures in models, probably some hydraulics and stuff like that, but mainly special effects and miniatures. The cell phone thing. The cell phones are attacking. We don't know why they're attacking, but they're attacking, and eventually, they're flying up into the air out of people's hands and causing accidents when they're driving and stuff. And the town is under threat. And finally, the townspeople mobilize the military to build some robots, and the robot creator doesn't want to do it, but then he does. He changes his mind when everything goes to shit for him. And at one point, there was a funny scene about like Karma and Vishnu and stuff like that, and all their different deities and gods and demigods they have. And the audience laughed at this part about a play on words for this one deity. And I have no idea what that part was, because I'm not familiar with that. But they thought it was great, that part. So then they continued with some more of this robot stuff. They had pretty good costumes and effects and green screens, and it was fairly on model. Then it gets really crazy, and there was another kill where there was a guy who was going down a freeway, and the freeway does like an alien encounter. Only the cell phones are doing it, and they make the road light up, and then they kill him, they eviscerate him. There was another kill where the guy's in a mansion and they surround him. They're chasing him. The phone's his rich phone is chasing him around. It's got like diamonds on it. It goes, and then they take him to the hospital. He's not breathing. Oh, he's not breathing. They rip off Alien by having the phone be inside his stomach. He's like dead. He dies, and then the phone like starts. Really cool effect. Like they built like a fake stomach and had like it lighting up under the skin, and then they pushed it up through his stomach and it bursts. And, like an alien. Yeah, this is kind of cool. Yeah, so all right, that's neat. Yeah, so there's some gore effects. Yeah, there's people getting skewered by phones and stuff. It's weird. Um, yeah, and then there's this extended. We're introduced to a bunch of the other heroes, and then the jealous guy whose father was killed, and then they introduced that. Okay, the likeness of the father guy was used to make the first robot, Chitty, and he was like this smart aleck wisecracking Mako style slash Bond style slash Jackie Chan, definitely inspired by the Tuxedo, that movie from the 90s. Definitely inspired by Neo from The Matrix. Definitely, and elements of this movie are right out of Neuromancer from William Gibson. So cool, why not? A little bit of Blade Runner thrown in there, so it's got everything. Yeah. Well, Blade Runner was inspired by William Gibson as well. Cyberpunk, that kind of thing. Before there were movies. Johnny Mnemonic came out in the late 80s, so yeah, William Gibson would have been first. Cyberpunk, that kind of thing. Yeah. The whole idea of that. It's supposed to be 2018, though. It's not the distant future, but apparently they have robots in India. And functional AI robot androids that can mimic human behavior perfectly. But yeah, there's the scene with the bus. Well, they figure out that it's weird. Like they figure out that the giant cell phone creature transformer thing that's threatening the city is right out of the Milpitas Monster 2, of course. The one that I wrote that I never finished, but I just came up with a premise. Right up with the idea of like computers morph together into a big robot to fight. It's a computer robot, and it's like about computer pollution. That was my spin on the story. Robert Burrows said, "Well, you could write it." I never did. He wasn't going to direct it. I said I could write it. But yeah, it was one of mine. The other guy that I talked to went and did a cat one. Evil killer cat. So okay. And he did the popcorn monster one. Needless to say, none of them ended up becoming Milpitas Monster 2. Anyway, so this movie has these robots and things, and cell phone creature comes out of cell phones. They all merge together and they form into a big bird, and they're fighting the bird. And we're introduced to the cocky male robot who is a little bit masochistic. A little bit, not masochistic. Masochistic. Yeah. No, that's not the word. Well, he is that too, but he's chauvinistic. Chauvinistic. He's chauvinistic. But a little bit masochistic too. Anyway, so he goes out and he's he tries to save the city, and they end up luring the bird guy using a Ghostbusters type fan thing with a ghost. And they figure out that the aura of evil from the guy that committed suicide is causing the birds to control the robot. So pieces of it are morphed into this giant thing collectively, and they're making this thing work because he's a spirit and it's attacking. It's very Japanese, actually. Very much like that. Very much like this guy's apparently seen some Studio Ghibli as well, and he's got that in there. So there's this spirit thing going on, and Indians have those too, and from India. Yeah, so they're doing this elaborate thing. They have the bus, and it's shooting this positive energy gun, basically. Very, very Korean, but Indian too. And the robot is damaged, the male one, and the female one sacrifices her processor to revive him, and then vice versa. in a scene very reminiscent of the scene of Optimus Prime and Elita 1 in Transformers. Uh, Visually the same scene. The robot, the male robot, helps her out with the and he switches it and yes, I will sacrifice yourself to save me. Now you will save me. And she saves him, and then they reverse it. So he's actually not he saves her, and then later on the creator guy is captured by the evil bird thing, and cut to intermission, and during intermission, a bunch of us went out at intermission to go to the restroom. And there's all these Cisco guys. From Cisco, there's a Cisco labs up. Anyway, it's a computer company. And yeah, it was everyone. I'm not familiar with I didn't know them, but a bunch of Cisco guys. They were all out to see the movie in the evening. And it's clearly where they were from. And they were slightly curious that this white guy with blue eyes was watching Neon movie. Well, okay. Nothing better to do on a Friday night, I guess. So yeah, but yeah, I was enjoying it and stuff. So yeah, so then the movie starts again, and so it starts again with more of the attack stuff. With the van, though, with the visuals there where they were doing the Ghostbuster van, they had a lot of work using a miniature and some hydraulics and like old school stuff mixed in with newer stuff. So you had sort of the guy lifting the van or putting it down or whatever, but then you cut to the miniature with the guy with, it's kind of a miniature, and then you cut to the other thing. It's kind of cool how they did that. Could tell how they did that, but at least it wasn't seamless. But at least it worked for what it was. Really ambitious. They probably spent probably 200 million on it, and whatever that is in rupees, I don't know. But they probably spent a lot of money on it. But it's a cheesy movie at times, but it's like Terminator meets Neuromancer meets Sarah Connor Chronicles meets a little bit of Alien, a little bit of other stuff. It's like, and a little bit of Godzilla in a sense, because you have sort of this big monster thing going on. And so a little bit of Transformers with the giant robots and stuff that happens later. We cut to part 2, and we learn the backstory of the guy who killed himself. We cut back to like years earlier, when he was born, stillborn, but a little bird flew in and revived him. So the birds were always part of him. So by the time he was an old man, he was an advocate for bird conservation. And so there's a message about bird conservation in here, and sparrows and birds and stuff. And the old man was trying to get people to stop using the cell phones in the town because they used more cell phones in this town. They had 10 towers instead of 2 or 3, like the other places. 10 main stations or something. They made up some elaborate science and said like, oh, the radiation from the cell phones is frying people and giving cancer and stuff and leading to ADD, and there was no scientific evidence and all this extra stuff. I'm not going to rant about how that is either way, but in the movie, the consequence of the movie, it was like, okay, they're doing that either way. And this guy was depressed about it, basically, so because they didn't believe him, and he had buried all of his bird friends in the backyard because they all died, and they couldn't navigate because of the cell phone towers messing with their navigation. There's probably some truth to that. Probably do. Just like how underwater sonar navigation's messing with the sea life. And there was a silly show on the History Channel like 5 years ago where they turned that into a mermaid episode and made it dumb. It could have just been about sonar affecting fish. That would have been more interesting, but no, they turned it into mermaids. Well, in this movie, they just take it to the nth degree and decide, well, our message is a message, but we still have giant robots fighting, so it's okay, and cell phone creatures and whatever. So giant creatures made of all kinds of cell phones. Borg bird / like giant sparrow, dove thing attacking hawk thing, crow thing. They called it a crow at some point. Kind of vaguely looked like a raven more than a crow, but anyways, but then Raven bad guy captures the master guy. There's a fight in the city, thanks to the jealous, revengeful guy whose father died to make the male robot, and who we didn't know about. I guess there must have been a previous movie before this. It was probably Chitty 1.0 or something. And in that one, the father guy died to make the robot. So the different from the old man who died, and smart aleck robot. So the creator guy is captured by the bad guy, who the other bad guy let out, and it seems similar to what they did in Fantastic Beasts 2. Oddly enough, I'm sure they didn't know each other at all. One of the bad guys that lets out the bad guy, the main bad guy, the bird dude, the jealous man, is almost immediately dispatched by the bird guy in the stadium. They capture him in a soccer stadium, and he's all like, "No, I was helping you. I'm part of your group. I want to join you. Your evil plan, take over the world and everything." And he goes, and he basically says, "You will be the first to die then, ha ha ha." And he basically like zaps the guy that freed him, the bad guy that wanted revenge. He incinerates him with energy from cell phones that he made like a G.I. Joe type. He made like over the stadium. He made a G.I. Joe evil Cobra type lens of the electromagnetic energy and somehow forced it down into the stadium. And he's going to like kill 70,000 people. It's like, get really crazy, and then it gets even crazier. Then it becomes like Robot Jocks crossed with Transformers, and throws in a little bit of Godzilla, and a little bit of X-Men and X-Men Days of Future Past, but not time travel, just the stadium part. They watched Days of Future Past, and so they're like. And the other stadium one. And there have been a few movies where they've used the stadium. So here's Stalker Stadium. So a bird guy transforms into a giant super robot. But smart aleck robot, and the Girl Friday assistant robot have engineered mini-me robots, or microbots. They call them microbots in the movie, in English. And the microbots are little cell phones that transform. So they made their own cell phone army to attach to their army of 500 super soldiers that the military agreed to build in what amounts to a day. So they built all these super robots to fight the cell phone monster. Super robots can transform and merge into a giant robot, of course. So these two giant 100-foot tall robots they're duking it out in a scene that is almost exactly like the scene from the latest Transformers city battle that I did with the Transformers thing. Yes. So cool. It's exactly the same scene. It's like, wow. Okay. but with better special effects. Of course, they had CG and everything. But yeah, it's the same bloody scene. It's like, okay, they're gonna fight. They're gonna do this. Clotheslines him. Throws him over, drops him on the ground, turns him over, and they cut to the robots fighting, larger robots fighting, and they go, close, so we have guns, boom, 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 we're going to knock each other out, boom, boom, then they're like, same kind of scene, it's the same choreography in this Indian movie that he did in the Trans Tech, the Children of the Shadow. In the Children of the Shadow, in that scene, it's the same. You might, Indian people might see this that version of my animated thing with the cities crumpling down to the ground when they're last duked each other out to the finish there. Of course, I was kind of ripping off one of my the earlier Trans Tech city scenes, but yeah, so they probably watched that and it just extrapolated from there, or they watched a wrestling match, typical wrestling match. That's kind of what it was. So it wasn't like they were ripping off my idea. It's that it's KalKat. That's what KalKat would do. KalKat. So yes, oh, of course. This director was not KalKat though. Not KalKat. KalKat is not just California cat. It is an Indian name. Yes. I didn't know that at the time, but apparently there was a KalKat. My brother's friend was KalKat. Pamp KalKat. Not Strebby, but KalKat. And KalKat is not named after her, but it's just a coincidence. It's California cat. But I often get, well, not often, but sometimes I will get like notifications about the KalKat Club or some other Indian place. So this movie pops up. Why don't you go and watch the 2.0? We'll see that because your name is KalKat. Okay. I'm game. So yeah, KalKat was watching 2.0. Chitty 2.0. Yes. So the it was crazy. Dovetastic, microwave theater guy. Even though he's Pakistani, he'd probably like this movie. He'd probably think it was great. It's just that crazy because it's right up his alley. It's like, wow, this is amazing. Dovetastic, did you do this? I asked the person. No, he didn't. But I know who that is. But yes. So the two robots fight each other, and the mini-me's fight each other, and then they do this gag at the end where they rescue the hero, and they put him out of the thing, and then the little mini-me robot phone thing tricks the guy who's like lying there all with his neck in a sling in the bed, and tricks him into thinking that there is another cell phone attack going on with the cell phone aliens. But then little mini-me robot transforms and goes, "I was just kidding." And he's all, "Who are you?" And he says, "I am the microbot. And I've actually tricked you, but it's okay because I'm a good guy." And he's all, "I've come to see you." And he's all like, "Who are you?" And he's all, "I am your grandson." And he's all, "Ah!" And then he's like, "Ooh!" And he flies off. What? Okay, this movie is nuts. This movie is truly nuts. Some reviews have popped up already, saying it since this screening, saying it sucks. That it's like 2 stars or something. About some of these reviews, and it's like it's supposed to. I think it's like a big robot version. I think this is probably going to go down in history as one of those really surreal sort of Sharknado, kind of things. It's not as bad as Sharknado. It's really not bad. I liked it. It's just weird. It's just really, really weird. And there's, of course, it's a Bollywood movie, so they have an extended dance sequence at the end, which is like right out of a Black Eyed Peas video, which is fine, cool. That was the best part. The in credits dance sequence with the 2 robots having like a robot wedding, It's a sort of a wedding party thing. Yeah, they always do that. Some of those longer ones I saw years ago. Yeah, so so yeah, I saw this. It must have been like 3 hours long. Maybe he only saw the reviewer saw half of it, blocked out. But yeah, I suppose it would have been better if I understood like the English. I had to read the subtitles the whole time, but just because it was well done as far as I was concerned. I could pop that when this comes out on Blu-ray or whatever. I'd probably get it and I could put it out on put it in the background and watch different parts of it as a mini-series. It'd kind of be fun, just have it in the background. Different sequences that are done in it. You don't need to. It was more fun than Pacific Rim 2. It's definitely better than Michael Bay's Transformers. Maybe not better than the first one. It was I would say to compare it to anything, it's a spoof. There's a lot of Terminator in it. Spoof Terminator 1 and 2, Sarah Connor Chronicles. Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2, definitely. Neuromancer, but that's not a movie. Ghost in the Shell a little bit, yeah. A little bit. Standalone complex version. It's got a little bit of yeah, it's got a little bit of cyberpunk and a little bit of. It's got the smugness and outwardness of some of the manga stuff with the like anti-hero hero guy who's just like smug. It's got a lot of manga elements. Definitely inspired of that. Definitely inspired by Dovetastic microwave theater and the doves fighting in space. Definitely. Oh my goodness. So close. So close. But yes. And the fight sequence, which was right out of a Kal Kat Transtech movie. It's awesome. Yes, I had nothing to do with this director, but he apparently has seen some of mine and thought, yes, awesome. Well, if he has, feel free to contact. Oh yeah, I said there's an update on Axinar out there if you want to watch it. But I have nothing to do with Axinar. But if you want to watch it, watch it. Turn it in. And yes, we will be we'll be shooting Chimera pretty soon. I keep saying that, but yes, just pretty soon now. But so yeah. So and more with the the Transtech. Yeah, more Transtech is coming. Definitely. Corrosion of War Without End story. Slightly changed title though to avoid copyright issues. But probably War Without End or something. But yes, it will be a spoof of that story, and it'll be coming out in. We'll work on that too. That's nothing to do with this though. Well, kind of. No, just kidding. Yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I don't know. At least 3 stars. It was entertaining. It might have been a little over long. Like almost 2.5 hours, but at least it was entertaining afterward, and was yeah. So I liked it. 3 stars, sure. 3 stars is 70% roughly. Scale of 1 to 5 stars, yeah. Or yeah, I liked it, so it's fine. Yeah, I kind of liked watching cheesy sci-fi thing. It was fun. The audience liked it. And I wasn't saying that because it was a special screening. I had to pay for it, so it wasn't like the studio was saying, "Here, go to see our screening of our movie, and you have to say it's good." No, it wasn't that at all. I did have to pay for it. It was kind of funny that, well, a little bit funny that afterward, funny, funny. Yeah, we were all walking out of the movie, and it was like late, so there was this group kind of interspersed throughout a bunch of Indians and Pakistanis, other people going out, and I was heading for the back exit thing there, the exit to go into the mall. These and I run on ahead and opened the door for these 3 Indian ladies that was going in, and they were surprised that a man would open the door for them. They were there. Oh, well, thank you. Oh my goodness, a man opened the door for us. I was like, oh yeah, I saw that. You were in that movie. I said, yes, I was in that movie. Like, yeah, I thought it was funny. It was aliens and robots. And, yes, pretty good. So they liked that. They were like, oh, you like the movie? Cool. But yeah, so we were all in the movie, and weird movie, but yeah, it was like watching a Transtech, basically, that'd been done by a director with millions of dollars to throw away for their movie. I don't think I would have done it with cell phone critters, but yeah. It's really goofy. I hope Red Letter Media gets a hold of it. No. It wasn't really a best of the worst thing, though. I mean, it was, best of the worst category would, yeah. I think they would laugh at parts of it because it was pretty weird and batshit and crazy and messed up and different. Yeah, it was fine for that. I mean, it wasn't boring at any point. They even had like bitch slapping in it, like the robot. Although they reversed that at times. There was one time they had the aggressive male robot, the chick. But then later on she did it to him, so it's kind of like It's like messed up, but then he turns around. He's like, he's like, his head comes up. He's like, "I'll teach you to do that to me." Damn it! At one point, a robot's head gets knocked off, which was funny. Now start over with this one. Messed up. But yes, don't be misogynistic. That's the word, misogynistic. Yes, at least the actors also enjoyed chewing scenery. One or two of them were clearly the director, as well. But yeah, they weren't in the theater though watching it. That would have been weird, but no. So there's my review of 2.0, or Chitty 2.0 is probably what it's really called. Strange movie. It was either that or Creed 2, and I haven't seen the first one. So. I haven't seen the first one of this one either. Yeah. Ew, it's not like when I was at the ESL meeting thing, and one of the ESL students mentioned that her ex-boyfriend was in Fiend, which was that weird Korean movie from like 10, 15 years ago. The Fiend. Actually, I had heard of that movie, and I'd actually seen some of it. Not all the way through, but I'd skipped through it. But The Fiend. Oh, that's that mob movie with that weird dude with the spiky hair running around. It's kind of like an old boy, but not as interesting. He's like, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I seen it. Really? I wasn't paying any attention, though. I was like, oh, yeah, there's another one. Oh, yeah. Uncredited cameos and other things, but yeah. You have to go looking for those. Something coming up, too. For more Kal Kat appearances. Oh, yes, and, did you see the Kal Kat scene in Ralph Breaks the Internet? I don't think I mentioned where that was, but I'll mention it here. That was during the scene where the where the green spambot guy is doing his thing, and then there's this sort of balding little dude next to him who runs up, and then there's the little hand grabby guy. The hand grabby guy wasn't me; it was the guy behind him. Yeah. Anyway, it just looked like me. Yeah. Ooh. Yes, and I'm not the evil villain guy in Aquaman 2. That's Marlo fucking. Sorry. But yeah, there's a character that looks kind of like me in that one too. I always point those out. Like in Lord of the Rings 2. Yeah. Actually, I was in the credits. Actually, yeah, the remake, the prequel, Hobbit. Yeah. So, anyway, Hobbit. There's this rumor that Silly Kelly was in Moana playing the crab guy. Nope, just the song. That would have been weird. Yeah, no, I wasn't. Just acting like me. Yes, well, I watched a weird Bollywood movie. Actually, the dance sequence at the end was really cool. It was like they were doing the robot. It was like very retro. And it was like something out of the Black Eyed Peas video. And out of the parody one. That's on Bad Lip Reading. Their parody is also in there. So. Yes, and cell phones are... Yeah. Oh, shoot. Wow. Anyway.